Who is going to be the biggest winner in Week 10? That is the question that I intend to answer in today's video. How's it going, everybody? I'm Jason of Jason's Realm here, and today I'm here bringing you guys my Week 10 NFL predictions. Now, the team did not get their predictions in this week as we were working on a tighter deadline as I have to produce these videos a bit sooner this week. But alas, we will still provide my predictions and we'll update you with the teams as they come in. Let's dive right into these. Okay, so starting things off, as always, with Thursday Night Football. This one, the Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears. Now, the Panthers have been struggling recently, not quite looking amazing or great, and the Bears have been playing up. They have been playing really well against teams that they really have no right to be playing up against. That being said, I am taking the Bears on this one. I think the Bears at home are just going to be playing a bit too well. Plus, they don't have to worry about their tank because as long as they win this game, Carolina falls even further and their draft position gets higher. But remember, Carolina's draft pick goes to Chicago. So I think Chicago is going to be doing everything they can to win this game because they will already have a top 10 pick locked up via the Panthers. Up next, we have the Indianapolis Colts facing the New England Patriots, but not in Foxborough, in Frankfurt. And this game is going to be interesting as there have been rumors going around the league about the Patriots maybe moving on from Bill Belichick if the Patriots fail to win in Germany. Now, that being said, I think that Bill Belichick, he is a legacy coach. He is going to find a way to get this win against the Colts to save his job. He's not going to go down without a fight, and I think that he will manage to find a way to win to save his job. Up next, we have the Cleveland Browns going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. This game going to be a heavy hitter for the Ravens. A very white-hot offense against a steaming hot defense. I think, though, the Ravens are just the more complete and better team. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be closer than a lot of people expect. I think the Ravens only scored maybe about 24 points in this one. But I do think they do beat the Browns in a tight game. This game here is a little bit tougher for me to predict. The Houston Texans taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. The Bengals have been looking really good recently, and the Texans have been struggling, but C.J. Stroud has been putting the team on his back. That being said, I feel like the Bengals will be able to edge out a win just because the Bengals are more complete. The Texans, if you take C.J. Stroud out of the Texans, they're complete garbage. There is no other way around it. C.J. Stroud is carrying the Texans solely on his back, and I just don't think he's going to be able to do enough to beat the Bengals. Up next, we have the San Francisco 49ers going to Duval to take on the Jaguars. Now, this game, the Jaguars have been white hot. The Niners have been struggling, but I think the Niners finally get themselves back on their feet. Chase Young has been in the system now for almost 2 weeks at the time of this game going, and I think that Chase Young comes in, makes an immediate impact, and helps shut down the Jaguars. The Jaguars are also due for a loss. Keep that in mind. They have been white hot since London. They have won every game since their first London game. So they are going to be due for a loss at some point, and I think this is a game against the Niners. It's going to be a loss for the Jaguars. Up next, we have the New Orleans Saints going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings and probably Josh Dobbs. Now, Dobbs coming into the system last week looking absolutely insane considering he has done absolutely no reps with the team in practice leading up to that game. And the Saints, they've been looking a bit suspect. The last couple weeks, they've been playing down to teams. They've managed to squeak out a few wins, but they have been struggling with playing down. I feel like Minnesota is going to punish them for that, and Minnesota will manage to get the win, especially with a potential return of Justin Jefferson. I feel like the Saints just are going to have a bad week. They're going to struggle. They're due for a bad week, and the Vikings will do it. But I do think if Taysom Hill does get used, the Saints make this a lot closer of a game than it should be. Up next, we have the Legacy Bowl. The Green Bay Packers going to the Steel City to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game going to be a fun one to watch as the Packers have finally started hitting their groove last week against the Rams by playing Aaron Jones and taking advantage of Aaron Jones. And the Steelers not really looking great, but Steeler football does exist. That being said, I feel like the Steelers will do just enough to edge this out because of Steeler football. Will they deserve the win? Probably not, but Steeler football manages to get wins against bad teams, which the Packers are. So that being said, I feel like the Steelers are going to manage to get the win just because of Steeler football. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans going to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Now, the Titans have been looking really good under Will Levis, but the Buccaneers have been struggling. They have lost 5 straight now, and this is in Tampa Bay. This has a trap game written all over it for Tennessee. I feel like Will Levis does take another loss, this one to the Buccaneers, as they showed flashes last week, and they are going to come back even hungrier, especially because this one is in Tampa Bay. Up next, we have the start of the 4 o'clock window with the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals do get Kyler Murray back this week, and that being said, the Falcons have been doing some suspect things. I did initially take Atlanta, but I feel like Arizona under Kyler Murray's return is going to look better, and I feel like the Falcons are just going to have a little bit of trouble with that suspect defense. So I am going to take the Arizona Cardinals in this one. Up next, we have the Detroit Lions going to Los Angeles to take on a Chargers team that has not been looking great but looked amazing against the Jets because it was the Jets' offense and their offensive ineptitude. That being said, the Chargers are going to be decent, but I feel like the Lions are just a one-step better team. They're coming off a bye, they're fresh, they're well-rested, and I feel like the Lions are going to do a great deal of work to try to extend their lead in the NFC North. Up next, we have a absolutely disheveled Giants team going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. This is going to be a no-contest game. The Giants, with 2 healthy quarterbacks over their entire roster, going to take on the Cowboys, who have just signed Martavis Bryant, by the way, making his return. I just feel like the Cowboys are going to be the stronger team in every aspect of the word and will get a big win. Up next, we have the Washington Commanders going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like the Seahawks are the Sea frauds, and the Commanders will expose that with another win. They showed last week that they can win without the players they traded, and I feel like they will do just enough to edge out the Seahawks, who are not really looking amazing. Now, I would not surprise me if the Seahawks win this. I feel like the Seahawks are the favorites, but I just feel like Washington is just going to do everything they can to upset the Seahawks. Up next, we have a game that's going to be an absolute bore fest. On Sunday Night Football, the New York Jets taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders coming off of a huge 30-point game against the Giants, now going to face the Jets. The Jets offense looking like a toddler and a group of Pee Wee football players. That just screams easy win for the Raiders, especially with it being in Vegas. I got the Raiders winning this one. And last but not least for this video, we have the Denver Broncos taking on the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, New York, or Orchard Park. And Buffalo has been in a bit of a skid recently. I feel like Buffalo is hungry for a win. They are desperate. Their season is starting to become more and more on the line each week. I feel like Buffalo is going to come into this game knowing what is at stake, and they will do everything in their power to win, and it is against the Broncos, so the Bills should have a fairly straightforward win, in my opinion. So I am taking the Buffalo Bills to get a win this week. Well, that's about going to do it for me today. If you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe, as it does help me out a whole lot. At the time of recording, we are 1 subscriber away from the big 400. So if you can help us out, that would be absolutely amazing by smashing that subscribe button. Also, let me know down in the comments below who you've got winning in Week 10. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and check out our power rankings down here so that you can see what we think of each team after Week 9 heading into Week 10. And with that, I will see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.